coverage on Somnath Swabhiman Parva, where celebrations are underway in the city of Somnath, and Prime Minister there taking part in those celebrations. Now, Dr. S. Kashikar, political analyst, continues to stay with me. Dr. Kashikar, I want to talk about this. You know, when Prime Minister spoke about the spirit of Hindu civilization, he also attacked Congress, saying that the party always tried to downplay the reconstruction of the temple. He also showed several letters written by the former Prime Minister Nehru. So do you think it is time for the opposition right now to self-introspect and to question that how this politics of appeasement and this notion where one community is made to feel apologetic will not work anymore?
Absolutely. See, that is what the problem, it has always happened with the Congress in these last 75 years, more than 75 years, probably after the inception of Congress, that a sort of false secularism which they try to impose at least on their party and their own workers, party workers, and they try to spread it across their cadre, that this is how secularism works. Okay, secularism, we all are secular, the entire nation is secular, and we all believe in secularism, but on the name of secularism, one should not appease a specific community or push their interests by taking some others' rights. So, in that way, I think the Prime Minister has given the right indication that Congress at least now should stop doing it. And in fact, interestingly, Congress cadre has also started feeling, at least in Gujarat, they have started feeling that yes, whatever we did in the past was possibly wrong. And this is what we have seen in the last Vidhan Sabha election. 6 Congress MLAs, 6 and 9 Congress big shot leaders, those who were the ministers in the Congress ministry in Gujarat, they joined BJP and they realized that, okay, we were doing the mistake, at least from this point of view, that our definition of secularism, that is Congress's definition of secularism, was something really misinterpretation of secularism. So, and there is one more point that again, Narendra Bhai also points out that whenever you are talking about Hindu Sanatan, the Hindu Sanatan itself is a secular thing, right? No Hindu or no Sanatani will never deny the existence of others. So if Hindu Sanatanis or Hindu culture or Bharatiya culture is ready to accept everyone with that Vasudeva Kutumbakam spirit, then why you are trying to impose a false secularism? In that way, what I would like to indicate the same thing, that whatever he says regarding Mr. Nehru, former Prime Minister Nehru's letters, and about his insistence to the Babu Rajendra Prasad for not going to stop him to go for the ceremony in Somnath Temple, or to create some hurdles in the way of Sardar Patel, when Sardar said, okay, we will rebuild Somnath Temple. And Sardar Patel rebuilt Somnath Temple not with the government money, but with the public fund, because he knew that this is the temple built by people.
Right.
So, that is a clear message.
All right. Thank you, Dr. S. Kashikar, for joining us and sharing your own bits in this big story. I'm also being joined by now Anurag Naidu, political analyst. Thank you, Mr. Naidu, for joining us on News 9. I want to ask you, as celebrations unfold in the city of Somnath, we're not just remembering the destruction of the temple, we're also paying tribute to the resilience, the faith, and the civilisational self-respect. So while we look back at the history, it is also a historic moment right now. So how do you think this is going to go down in history?
Absolutely. I think this is very heartwarming to see our very own Prime Minister leading the celebration. 1,000 years is a big, big, big deal. I always say Somnath stands not because it was never broken, but because it was never forgotten. And that is, I think, the whole sums up the whole story. It's about, yes, as you rightly said, civilizational resilience. It was destroyed multiple times, rebuilt. This is something that we have all been talking about over the last few days. It is purely about the devotees and the people's revival. And it is something which is beyond religion. You need to understand the entire economy of India was centered around the temple towns, whether it is Tanjavur, whether it is Madurai, Somnath, Varanasi. These were the gateways, these were the economic superpowers in its own sense, acted as a gateway to innovation. You know, the Cholas had one of the best naval army in the world. They built their own ships. I think this was something we need to remember, that these temple towns are not just about religion or a temple or a deity, but it has very, very strong economic, cultural, and civilisational significance to our whole landscape. And let's not bring any hate angle here. It is absolutely not about a religion. And 1,000 years, survival through invasions, erasure attempts, and the rebirth again and again. It speaks something about it. It speaks the fact that it can never be forgotten. It speaks about our own resilience as Indians, our own resilience, what we carry in our blood, the ethos of Hinduism. I think this is something we have to be extremely proud of. 1,000 years automatically, if a generation, as a culturally, we are holding up to what we believe in so strongly. I think this is an absolute display of a great commitment to our own belief system as a country. I think it's a huge, and I really, it's important that the Prime Minister, who is also the most popular leader, one of the most popular leaders in the globe, leads the celebration, gives a symbol to the world that whatever world do not know about our civilization, our country, we are just not a country with the largest number or a big number of poor people, but we are also a country with a rich cultural heritage, which the world have to be remembered, which the world have to be told. I think none other than Prime Minister can do this job much better than anyone else in the world, and I'm very, very happy to see this movement unfolding.
Nadu, you've taken me back to my history lessons when you talk about, how temples have always served and played a central role in the economies of these villages as well. And today also, when we talk about, right from Ayodhya to Kashi to Somnath, these are also becoming economic powerhouses as they boost the tourism potential, and, they're putting these places on the global map as well.
I think you made a very, very good point. And this is something that I've been trying to tell people, by and large, whenever there is a debate about religion, the debate about dividing the sections. It's not about that. When Prime Minister, or even let's say this government, let me say that, if they develop Kashi, it is not the Kashi as a temple. They develop the whole corridor. When they develop Ujjain, it's the whole corridor. It is Ayodhya, it is a whole city. Now, if you see this, just imagine, when Ayodhya Ram Mandir was built and the whole economic development took place in the corridor, real estate boomed to the next level. And this real estate registration did not have a mention of a Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. It is the people and citizens of India who can be benefited out of it, right? It is the local traders who opened up their shops, hotels, and completely revived the people, brought them up from poverty to middle class to upper class. I think it's a whole, you need to understand from a holistic economic sense. It is very easy to link the Prime Minister to religion because that's where you get the brownie points maybe, and Prime Minister will unsettle some people, which is totally fine, but he will not stop. The government will not stop. We need to revive all of these corridors. Temples are just a significant central, importance of a cultural space and everything, but I think the temples help the people who are living in that vicinity and in the city to uplift, and opening up the tourism, of course, the tourism avenues, and more than all of this, the temple's revival of this is important because the next generation should know what does it take to carry this kind of a legacy. What do we learn from this kind of a resilience? I think we are getting to the time where we are getting into shortness of concentration. Our kids are losing focus. They need to really understand what it takes to carry forward the heritage for 1,000 years.
Right.
That's important.
Right. Mr. Nadu, I will come back to the kind of messaging that we sent out through such events and the impact it has on especially the younger generation. But let's also get a glimpse of the celebrations and the rituals which are underway right now at the temple for our viewers.
विष्णोराग्नया प्रवर्तमानस्य अद्य ब्रह्मणो द्वितीये परार्धे श्री श्वेतवाराह कल्पे कलियुगे कलि प्रथम चरणे भूरलोके भारतखंडे जम्बूद्वीपे आर्यावर्तांतर्गत ब्रह्मावर्तिक देशे संकल्पमस्तु ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम विष्णुर्विष्णुर्विष्णुः श्रीमद्भगवतो महापुरुषस्य विष्णोराज्ञया प्रवर्तमानस्य अद्य ब्रह्मणो द्वितीये परार्धे श्री श्वेतवाराह कल्पे कलियुगे कलि प्रथम चरणे भूरलोके भारतखंडे जम्बूद्वीपे आर्यावर्तांतर्गत ब्रह्मावर्ती कदेशे संकल्पमस्तु। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम विष्णुर्विष्णुर्विष्णुः श्रीमद्भगवतो महापुरुषस्य विष्णोराज्ञया प्रवर्तमानस्य अद्य ब्रह्मणो द्वितीये परार्धे श्री श्वेतवाराह कल्पे कलियुगे कलि प्रथम चरणे भूरलोके भारतखंडे जम्बूद्वीपे आर्यावर्तांतर्गत ब्रह्मावर्ती कदेशे संकल्पमस्तु। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। भवानी शंकर महारुद्राय सोमेश्वराय संगाय सप्रियराय नमः। ध्यानं समर्पयामि। भवानी शंकर महारुद्र सोमेश्वराय नमः। दिव्यांपाय ओकादे भूपयो दिव्यंतरिक्षे पयोधा। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। भवानी शंकर महारुद्राय सोमेश्वराय संगाय सप्रियराय नमः। ध्यानं समर्पयामि। भवानी शंकर महारुद्र सोमेश्वराय नमः। दिव्यांपाय ओकादे भूपयो दिव्यंतरिक्षे पयोधा। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। भवानी शंकर महारुद्राय सोमेश्वराय संगाय सप्रियराय नमः। ध्यानं समर्पयामि। भवानी शंकर महारुद्र सोमेश्वराय नमः। दिव्यांपाय ओकादे भूपयो दिव्यंतरिक्षे पयोधा। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। भवानी शंकर महारुद्राय सोमेश्वराय संगाय सप्रियराय नमः। ध्यानं समर्पयामि।